Arian, my friend, how are we doing today?
Okay. I guess I'll just answer that with the look. I think people are negative, but for the wrong reasons.
Mm.
Because I don't think there was too much wrong with our performance, bar the defense. And by bar the defense, I mean 2 players, maybe 3 or 4. And those are the wingbacks, which make 2, Tanganga and Galini. Those 4 players, and I want to highlight Tanganga more than all, because I think he single-handedly cost us that tie. All 3 goals, even for the third one where Galini made a massive mistake, Tanganga lost his man. Every single time it was a Tanganga error that led to all 3 of those goals. He does not need to put on a Spurs shirt, even for the first leg. After that performance alone, it's unforgivable. He single-handedly cost us our place in the final. I genuinely believe that if Dyer or Romero or literally Rodon, which Rodon can't play because apparently some kind of rib problems is causing him to have some trouble. Tanganga has literally cost us our place in this final. And I stand by that to the very end. I don't think he did anything right defensively in the major moments. I really don't.
Do you think he deserves a loan?
I think he deserves to be sold.
No, I hear what you're saying. I don't think necessarily selling him.
That's unforgivable for me. That's unforgivable for me. He didn't, for the first half, but second half he was alright, I guess. But is that really what he can offer? He had a 2 or 3 game alright patch for us when Jose was here. He hasn't done anything since.
The thing is, though, he's gone straight from the academy to the first team. He hasn't really had that loan to develop him. You know, Skip went out to Norwich, had that loan. It done wonders for him. You know, Tanganga hasn't really. He's kind of drowning at the moment, isn't he? And we can't really drop him for anyone because if Rodon's not going to play and Dyer's not 100% fit with Romero's injury, we don't have a choice but to play him. And like you said, every time he plays recently, he's at fault for both home and away. You know, he's at fault for pretty much every goal. And, you know, you can't defend it. But we don't have any other options.
It pisses me off because that game was so winnable. And I'm going to get into some of the other things in a second, but it was just, we didn't deserve to, like, the 3-0 scoreline it does not tell the whole story whatsoever. Nothing tells the story of what happened. Yeah, there was VAR decisions, which I don't want to say they were incorrect, because I actually think they were fine decisions, but the game itself as a whole, 3-0 Chelsea, it would give this impression that Chelsea kind of dominated us for the whole 180 minutes, when maybe that was true for about 60 minutes of the game in total, if you want to put it all together, where Chelsea were just completely outclassing us. But for at least another 60 of those minutes, it was a pretty even battle, and for another 60 minutes, we were all over them. We were all, especially for the last maybe 30 minutes of this game, we deserved, for the last 10 minutes of the first half and for the last 30 minutes of the second half, we deserved to come out with something. We deserved even.
Do you not think Chelsea might have just taken their foot off the gas? You know, 3-0 up in the cup tie. They know they only got half to go. It's quite easy for them to, you know, kind of see the game out in that way. You know, maybe think the tie is won, and maybe that's how we got Lauda back in the game.
Well, sometimes when a team puts their foot off the gas, they can't get it back on, because that's happened to many teams. It's even happened to us a million times. Zagreb is a perfect example.
Yeah, but you look at the quality. They take their foot off the gas and they're still in control. We take our foot off the gas and we crumble and bottle it. The difference of the golfing class between players, you know, their bench, 60% of their bench, 70% of their bench walks into our 11.
That still doesn't, yeah, even if it's a difference in quality, but that doesn't necessarily mean that if they take their foot off the gas, they're guaranteed to be able to plant it back on. Any team is always prone to that error of not being able to get back into a game. And even in the moments that we did get back, and look, one thing I want to say is there was some shocking refereeing decisions for both legs, and for the second penalty, fair enough. I don't even know how the hell that was even given as a penalty in the first place. Third goal, offside rule. It is what it is. First thing, and I want to say, I don't think it's a pen. I still think there's even an argument for that, because yes, Højbjerg clashes his own back ankle, but if anyone ever plays football, you know it's not exactly an easy task to have your left foot like slam your own ankle unless it gets caught, which it does. And I think if that's not given as a penalty, how is that not a red? He's last man and he's through on goal.
No, but he's going away from goal and there's covering defenders.
So how is it not a yellow then?
It should have been a yellow. I agree with that, but
How has
I
he not
don't
even
think it was
been
red.
booked? And then the first, like, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but I don't remember who it was. I don't remember who was involved, but there was a clear elbowing situation.
That was Saar on Kane.
Saar on Kane. How was that not even looked at?
I don't know. I think we're clutching here, Arian. I think we're clutching here.
No. What I want to say is there's two potential major decisions, and VAR doesn't even look at the Malang Sarr elbow on Kane. It doesn't even look at it. Okay, fair play on ours. Sure, it got the right decision. I don't want to say VAR made the poor decision, but how come when you have a situation like that, it doesn't even look at it? Like, does you know what I'm getting at here? When it's not even checked.
I don't know. I think but you're looking at for the Saar one last week. I think it was it's not clear and obvious red card for me. I think you can maybe make the case. I didn't think it was clear and obvious. The one today, I didn't think it was a red card.
I think okay, and that's just the refereeing decision. But again, on our performance, because that's what this is talking about. I don't want to talk about the ref for too long. I'm only for a couple minutes, right? On our performance, I think we deserve to come out with something. I think that's the one positive we can take from this game. We deserve to come out with something, and the very, very unfortunate situation of having two of our two best defenders realistically injured, and we have to put out our probably worst defender in the team, especially on current form, Tanganga, costing us all 3 goals, and also the really weird decision of having Golini in goal, which also doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think overall this game, the lineup, the performance, and everything, the two positives we can take from it is one, I think especially when it comes to our attack, maybe we were missing a final ball here, and one thing there, we looked very promising in the last couple minutes of the first half and most of that second half. I think everyone can agree there. That second half showed a lot of fight. We definitely, scoring no goals from that is definitely very unlucky. Scoring no goals this whole game is very unlucky. I think we deserve to at least come up with 1 or 2. I think anyone can agree with that. And the other one is that the lineup, at the very least, I think the only thing it could have done, as confusing as it was with Doherty on the left and Golini in goal, is it showed, I think it was kind of a statement from Conte. It's like, look, this is what I have to work with here if I'm in a cup. Because in a cup, realistically, most of the time, even if it's a semifinal, a lot of the big teams don't play their strongest 11. Even in the semifinal, a lot of the teams in the Carabao Cup, they don't play maximum strength.
They might do if they haven't won a cup since 2008.
Right. Okay, but the point is, a lot of them don't, and in most
because they don't take it seriously. A lot of clubs don't.
No. Okay, I'm trying to convey my point here, and I'm doing a really poor job of it. The point is, a lot of the clubs, and big clubs especially, whether it is because they've won a trophy or not, they take one player here, a player here, and they play at least 1 or 2 or 3 second choice players. Conte's point with this lineup was, look, here's what happens when I do this. I have to play Doherty on the left, I have to play Golini in goal, and I have to put Winks in the midfield, who's quite good to be fair to him. He was all right. But Conte's point to Levy was, I can't trust a single one of my second string players. I need something here.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said, didn't he? Right. I don't know if you saw what he said in the post-match.
So do you think that could benefit
interview
us in the long run because we can go and invest, or do you think?
I mean, no, I don't, because I think we should be investing anyway, whether we win, lose, or draw tonight. But he said in the interview, didn't he? I don't know if you saw it. He said, because he was asked about North London derby, which we'll ask you about in a second. But he said how you're feeling about going into that game. And he said, well, let's just hope we have some players back, because we have a first 11, and then as soon as 2 or 3 players are missing, then we're in trouble. So is that just, you completely echo those thoughts? Or do you think he could have done anything differently tonight, in maybe tactically or whatever, that could have changed the result?
I mean, it makes sense for him to look. The thing is, you put Reguilon on this left back. We're 2-0 down against Chelsea. Let's say you put Reguilon, our amazing left back Reguilon. You put him in, and we know the way he plays. The guy doesn't know how to stop running. He runs for 90 minutes, potentially hurts himself, gets some kind of injury. He has to recover. He probably, out of everyone in our 11, he has to recover the most. We have a game in the weekend, the North London derby, our most intense game at home, our most intense game of the year, without a shadow of a doubt. You need Reguilon fully fit and firing for that. It makes sense from Conte's perspective why you would not want to risk him. Now, why he didn't choose Cesare, I don't have a clue. But point is, it makes sense why you'd want to rest someone like Reguilon. And the point is, he's first of all saying Olivia, and the second is tactically it made sense, because you go out here, Reguilon runs his ass off, and you don't come out with a win. All you've got is now a player who's half fit, maybe, for the Arsenal game.
But do you think if we would have started with Reguilon, we would have done better and potentially got back into this game? And the same question that I asked on the stream, what's more important, potentially winning and going through to the final of a cup, or the North London derby? Because the North London derby, in the grand scheme of things, is just for pride. You know, it's one game out of a 38-game season.
No, because the North London derby this year is arguably even more important than this Carabao Cup because it could be the potential of it could be what separates us and Arsenal for the top four. The North London derby
It could be, but at the same time, would you rather get top four or win a trophy?
I'd rather get top four than get the Carabao Cup because we get to the Champions League, which long term will benefit us because money.
Yeah, but you know, Arian, we're 4 points, we're 3 points, no, we're 2 points behind Arsenal with 2 games in hand. So technically, we could afford to lose that game and still finish above them, couldn't we?
Well, yeah, but my point is, if you're 2-0 down, a left back shouldn't be the deciding factor in a game. Can we agree with that? A left back should not be
so
the deciding
important.
factor in a 2-0 deficit.
Well, no, well, in Conte's system, you know, it could make all the difference.
But was Doherty really the reason we lost today?
No, it wasn't the reason we lost, but I think having too many backup players in the team was definitely a contributing factor, yeah.
It was a contributing factor, but the thing is, we still created enough chances to score 3 goals, even with Doherty on the field and off the field when Sassignon came on. I don't think the Reguilon decision was a major factor, and I think Conte's thinking is, look, if I start Reguilon, there's a really good chance that he's not going to be fit and firing for the Premier League game. There's a very high chance. There's even a high chance he can get injured with the way he plays, and in the game against Chelsea, he could always get heated. So he's thinking, okay, let me at least go ahead and save this one player. Now, the Golini decision is just the only thing that doesn't make sense to me because he's a goalkeeper. I still don't understand that, and I'm not even going to try and defend that. The Reguilon decision, however, makes sense to me because a player like Reguilon could take this midweek rest. We can afford that because you know, even after Arsenal.
But he didn't play the first. He didn't play the first leg, did he, Reguilon?
Did he play? Well, he was injured, wasn't he?
And he didn't play on the weekend
because he was rested. So then, what was he rested for? The North London derby?
Well, okay. Well, yeah, probably the North London derby because you have to also remember after the North London derby we have Leicester in the midweek, and then we have Chelsea the next.
So why
weekend.
not start Sessegnon tonight?
That I don't really know. I don't understand that. I don't get it. But you know, maybe it's because he's just come back from an injury. He can't run another 90 as well. That's probably it if I had to guess. Conte's strategy, I'm assuming, coming into this game was he put Doherty in the left wing back spot. We try and stay tight at the back, maybe go ahead a couple of times, at least take an early goal. And because Sessegnon can't run the 90, hopefully we've tired Chelsea out enough. We bring Sessegnon on, who has a little bit of a burst of energy, and maybe we can get another 2 goals or another goal or 2 late on. That was probably Conte's thinking of starting Matt Doherty and bringing on, because I think it was a given that Sessegnon was going to come on. I think that was probably part of the plan, and I think he just didn't start him because Sessegnon had just come back. That's my only guess.
He was also asked Conte about Ndombele today about him being left out. He said it was a technical decision, and he would never make this decision if he hadn't spoken to the club first, and that that the club have a line and he has to kind of stick to that line. What, you know, do you think we've seen the last of him in the Tottenham shirt?
Yeah, some people are saying like Ndombele didn't play because Levy told Conte not to let him play, which doesn't make sense to me because if anything, Ndombele would just up his little value in the market if that happened, and we all know how much Levy loves his money. I think what's happened is Levy's like, look, the guy's about to be sold or something like that. We're probably talking to a bunch of clubs about selling him. We've seen Ndombele, and I don't even think if Ndombele was involved in the squad, he would have played. He's played like 4 games or something, really like barely any games under Conte. He's probably out the door, honestly, and for better, honestly, at this point, for better. What's he done? He's our record signing, and he's barely done anything. He's had a 10-game purple patch last season. That's all he's had for us. So, I mean, yeah. Hopefully, I wish him the best, and I hope we get some money out of it, because that's the only thing I just hope it benefits both parties, a sale.
All right, Arian, always good to speak to you as always, mate. Good to chat to you, and we'll see you for the game on Sunday.
We're still winning the North London derby. I don't care.
All right, let's hope so. Me too. I'm in it. We're going to win the North London derby. We're going
to win it. We're smashing Arsenal. They're frauds. They lost to Nottingham Forest with enough people to beat against Nottingham Forest. They brought on the big guns and still lost. Come on, you Spurs!